Welcome to A2Council Update, a recap of the Ann Arbor City Council meeting on June 3, 2024. This meeting included comments and discussion about negotiations to sell city-owned property to a developer, final approval for rezoning at 732 Packard, a licensing agreement for scooters and e-bikes in the city, a request that the state fund local bus systems, facial recognition software used by the police department, and investing in improvements on 4th Avenue. This is the voting chart for the council meeting on June 3, 2024. Council members Chris Watson and Erica Briggs were absent. All agenda items were approved. There was one split vote on a resolution directing 6 months of exclusive negotiations for the sale of 415 West Washington to developer 4M. All other agenda items were approved unanimously. You can find this voting chart and more information about this meeting at a2council.com. Like and subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. The meeting included a presentation from Stephanie Carter, Chair of the Independent Community Police Oversight Commission.
Very short report today. We did have our public forum last week, and it was lovely. And we had about 50 community people come out and meet with the new chief. And there were a lot of questions, which he answered, and we had a very good occasion. We'd like the public to know exactly which are the infractions that now the police will not pull over a car. And very responsive to what we asked for, and we have a whole stack of these to pass out so that the community will have them and know exactly what it is now.
After introductory remarks, public comments, and staff explanations, Council discussed agenda items for about an hour. 6 people signed up in advance to offer public comments. 4 people spoke to topics on the agenda. The consent agenda this week included 34 items and expenditures of nearly $11 million. 3 items were pulled for discussion. Council considered a resolution directing staff to enter into 6 months of exclusive negotiations with a single developer for the sale of the city-owned property at 415 West Washington. In 2020, city staff discussed the process for sale and redevelopment of this city-owned property.
As staff, we would never recommend handing over any exclusivity on a publicly owned site without some type of RFP process or consideration by council. We have from day one on the site told developers we're not interested in talking with them about the site because we made assurances through our entire public engagement process that this would not be a developer-driven process. But if council were to offer him exclusivity, or if you were asking if we should set aside the entitlement process to give him a window to do this on a non-competitive basis, that wouldn't be our recommendation.
In March 2023, City Council unanimously approved planned unit development zoning and supplemental regulations for this property so that a specific plan could be offered to developers in a competitive process.
We are often in the situation of leaving it up to the developer, who is an interested party, to give us their opinion on what can and can be done. In this case, staff from multiple departments have provided counsel, and they have reached agreement.
I hope that we're all in agreement in terms of the types of building that we would want to see built on this site, in terms of general direction that we would want a developer to come back to us with.
This week, public commenters responded to a new development plan that would happen without the benefit of an open competitive process.
With respect to the 415 West Washington site, I asked for reversal of prior decisions to develop the site and an explanation to the public of how the proposal before you tonight proceeded without a public release of an RFP. I asked that the city and the developer acknowledge openly that the methane to be used to create electricity from dairy manure contributes to greenhouse gas emissions equal to fossil-sourced methane. Installing a fuel cell device that relies on dairy methane is use of methane, the same as if it came from a fossil source.
Tonight's consent agenda includes an item to authorize the staff to work for 6 months to negotiate the sale of a city property to a developer who has donated more than $8,000 to PACs and campaigns that support many of you. It would give the inside track to buy and develop a city-owned property to a major donor without widely soliciting and comparing other bids. Going forward, please insist on proper above-board and competitive procedures whenever the city is selling or buying properties with no inside track for favored campaign contributors.
The deal has a 6-month negotiation period, then a year-long due diligence period. So much for moving quickly and competitive process. Did we learn anything from the SI situation? Maybe not. Heidi's already telegraphed that she wants to pay $2.5 million, less than half the appraised value. I can see this play out. The due diligence outs will be for any reason. We will have burnt 18 months, and then Heidi can play hardball on the ultimate price.
Commenters referred to the fact that the developer being offered exclusive negotiation rights to buy 415 West Washington is a campaign donor. The co-owner of 4M has donated to the campaigns of current council members and the mayor, as well as donating $5,000 to the mayor's political action committee. Council discussed it for about 25 minutes.
So I think that council has been engaged, working with staff in a very well-constructed by staff engagement process and then pre-entitlement process to really get this thing going. It is prime real estate. It could be wonderful housing.
The idea that this is somehow us giving a gift to a developer that actually has to go through a lot of work and invest a lot to come to us with a proposal that could still be shot down, again, can't be understated. So I'm excited to approve this.
2 council members expressed concerns about process while praising the chosen developer.
We have local developers here who are just really doing great work in the community. Have you seen the work that they're doing to bring new housing where it's needed, with the options for transit? No, I'm really impressed with the team. I don't think there's anything untoward about this process, but I will say I am really frustrated that we're here again with another situation that could have easily been avoided had we just worked with, had staff frankly worked to just put together an RFP.
While I think there's a lot of really good stuff in this proposal, I'm not going to be able to support it without an RFP process either.
In answer to questions, city staff clarified the idea of an exclusive negotiation without competitive bidding or an RFP process.
I as much sought this out from the developer as they offered it because of some of the uniqueness to it, some of what they're proposing as far as the sustainability components, the microgrid, the behind the meter thing is so far aflung and unusual compared to anything we've seen in the past that when we saw an opportunity to partner with someone like this, it was actually, I will tell you, it was me who pursued it. It wasn't them who submitted a proposal. It was actually me who went after it under those considerations.
It's not an identity or a personality or a conspiracy. It's financing when it's available, how to build those capital stacks, how to take advantage of an opportunity when it presents itself. And the opportunity is here. It's now, it's this year, because we have so many other parcels to develop. And no one is benefiting from that except, no one at the table is benefiting from it personally, and surely you are not directly, personally, Mr. Delacour. But since this
to say working on this project has benefited me in some way would be
Councilmember?
exactly
Right.
accurate.
So it's for the public good. It's a public
I mean,
parcel.
it's been there a long time. I mean, that was what was struck me as part of it is it sat there for a very long time without a solution.
What we have here today is a local developer who has demonstrated commitment to doing good work in the city, doing work that provides affordability, doing work that accomplishes and engages our A20 goals. We are getting exactly what we asked for. We are seeing whether this successful community-minded community partner can put together a proposal that works, and I am eager to see what's next.
In a split vote, Council approved directing staff to enter into a 6-month exclusive negotiation period with 4M for the sale of 415 West Washington. Council considered a 1-year licensing agreement for electric scooters and e-bikes to continue operation in the city of Ann Arbor. An amendment was offered and approved.
And so the difference between what is being circulated and what was originally in the packet is that it shortens the agreement to 3 months instead of a year, with 3 additional quarterly periods that can be renewed at the city administrator's discretion. If you look at the crash reports, one of the key things is that we've had 2 serious crashes and 1 fatality. So I think that there are actually measures that they've deployed in other cities that we could potentially deploy here. So I just want the chance to be able to talk with staff about some reasonable changes to this.
The licensing agreement was approved unanimously, as amended. Mayor Taylor was recused from a vote on a legal retainer with the Sam Bernstein law firm. It was approved unanimously. Council then considered a rezoning and site plan for 732 Packard Street. 12 lots will be combined and rezoned for new construction of a 14-story building with 376 apartments. At a public hearing earlier in the evening, commenters spoke to the issue.
I am kind of disappointed that this PUD is only 14 floors. It seems a bit low. It really would be nice if this were 20, 25 floors, and honestly, there are far too many parking spaces here.
A lawyer representing an adjacent property owner spoke.
We are not opposed to a development of the scope and size which is proposed. What we do oppose is the fact that there has not been consideration of the detrimental effect of this proposed building on the adjoining property, which is what's required under the law, under the code, and by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has not done its job. It is incumbent upon this council to pause this matter and send it back to the Planning Commission. This can be worked out outside of litigation. Litigation is not our chosen forum. Please don't force us into that.
Staff responded.
The city has not adopted any physical development standards regarding shade or wind impacts in any zoning district, and the city's PUD standards do not require such specific analysis to be completed, nor has this typically been done a component to other PUD zoning reviews. The uses of the site under the PUD do not have any detrimental impact, as they are the same uses allowed in the underlying and surrounding zoning.
In discussion, Council Liaison to the Planning Commission, Lisa Dish, introduced a lengthy amendment prepared by staff articulating why the rezoning was appropriate.
The use, physical characteristics, design features, or amenities proposed have beneficial effects for the city in terms of public health, safety, welfare, aesthetics, or convenience. The beneficial effects cannot be achieved under any other zoning classification. The use proposed does not have a detrimental effect on public utilities or surrounding properties. The rezoning to PUD continues to be consistent with surrounding uses and does not have a detrimental effect on surrounding properties. Disturbance of natural features, historical features, and historically significant architectural features are limited to the minimum necessary to allow a reasonable use of the land.
The amendments were approved unanimously, and council members echoed support.
And so I'm looking forward to the increased density. I hope that supports local businesses being there.
The amended PUD zoning and site plan for 732 Packard were approved unanimously. After brief statements in support, City Council unanimously approved an ordinance amendment to increase fines for multifamily and commercial property owners who fail to remove snow from sidewalks. Council then considered a resolution urging the state of Michigan to increase funding for local bus operations.
The growing demand means we urgently need increased state funding. This investment is essential to enhance accessibility, reduce traffic congestion, lower admissions, and provide key connections for work, school, and healthcare.
I would like to propose what I hope will be a friendly amendment that I have just sent over to the clerk that would add to the I believe second to last resolve clause, that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the governor, add the chairpersons of the Michigan House and Michigan Senate Appropriations Committees, and all Washtenaw County members of the Michigan Legislature.
The resolution was amended and approved unanimously. Council then considered a resolution directing the City Police Department to use care and caution in utilizing facial recognition technology.
Although white men experience a 99% accuracy rating with facial recognition technology falsely identifies African American and Asian faces 10 to 100 times more than Caucasian faces. It's more likely to misidentify women, specifically women of color, with African American females having the highest rate of misidentification, as well as transgender, gender nonconforming, youth, and people with disabilities.
I am grateful that the council members bringing this forward were able to get us to a result where we have at least an effective policy in place.
Finally, Council considered approval of a grant application to the Michigan Department of Transportation to fund the 4th Avenue Street and Transit Improvement Project. This Downtown Development Authority project will fully reconstruct and repave the roadway, widen sidewalks, and update lighting and stormwater infrastructure. Council made statements in support.
This initiative represents a significant investment in enhancing downtown Ann Arbor and creating a more vibrant, accessible, and attractive experience for all residents and visitors.
The meeting adjourned a little after 9:30 p.m. without any further public comment. For more details about this meeting, visit A2Council.com.
Welcome to this week's A2Council Moment of Zen.
When 99% of what I do is worry about people who want an extra compost bin or a better crosswalk by their school or want to understand how they can install new windows in their house and what that permitting process looks like, this job is thankless and boring.